What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and it is patch day. A wonderful day indeed, with FromSoft dropping a 4th of July patch for us here. This will put the game on 1.12.3, and we got some really nice changes, especially stuff that is rampantly being abused right now, so let's jump into it. The first thing is a PvP only change, and that will involve the Swift/Ash of War for backhand blades. Now, previously this Ash of War did insane damage. You could charge it on up and effectively just take out entire groups of people. They have fixed it to both decrease the damage as well as the secondary damage of that shearing vacuum animation. So this shouldn't be just insta-giving entire groups in PvP anymore. I was running around with it a little bit earlier on a different build that I was able to get an evasion on, and using it with bleed at least, it still seems quite strong, but at the very least, you won't be insta-giving people with it any longer. Moving on from there, they added proper sorcery scaling to the Carian sorcery sword. Now, to be fair, you're probably not going to be casting with this, just to show the difference here. Doing a regular cast with this, I'm hitting for 331. If I just use any staff, this is the thorn staff, I'm hitting 601. So there's still a big difference there in the damage potential, you know, right around half of what you're able to get. But still, it at least gives you, you know, if you want to do a quick cast with it, it makes it viable. Moving on from there, they extended the... Well, actually, before that, real fast, one that I'm surprised, the Impenetrable Thorns was not touched at all. This one was actually really surprising because I think most people will agree that this is still incredibly overtuned, so surprised that didn't get touched, but, you know, it is what it is. Moving on from there, though, the attack range of both the Smithscript Dagger and the Smithscript Cirque have been extended. This is one that I am very happy about. The dagger in particular felt like it just had an absolutely pitiful range, and it has been extended to hit from a little bit farther. Still not all that great from the looks of it here. We're almost getting them. The Cirque's more impressive. I tested the Cirque out earlier. The Cirque actually had, it seems like it's close to the day 1 range back when I was playing before the day 1 patch dropped, because they had nerfed the Cirque to where the range on it was quite pitiful, so it seems like that got a slight buff to where you can actually pump some damage with it again, which is pretty nice, because I do like the Cirques a lot, and, you know, that nerf definitely hurt him. Changed the placement of the bosses in the refight against Golden Hippopotamus and Commander Gaius bosses to be in the same position as in the first fight. So the Hippo and Gaius will now start way out in the field, which is nice to see. One of the big ones, fixed a bug that caused the Rolling Spark skill to deal more damage than expected. Fixed a bug that caused the Rolling Sparks and Wall of Spark skills to deal no damage while some special effects were applied to the player. Oh, this is a big one. This has been one of the most rampant cases of Ash of War abuse I've seen in a long time. People running out in PvP and one-shotting. For those that weren't aware of it, the idea is you'd walk up with Sparks, you'd aim at the ground, you'd cast it, and you would do like all 8 explosions of this Ash of War at once. Now, it still does some pretty respectable damage. You know, the thing is, this was always intended to be a multi-hit. You know, the idea here is you're fighting a big target, you're casting it out, and then boom, 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 boom. You're getting all those explosions. So now it actually works as intended, which is really nice to see. I've been wanting to do a build around perfumes, and now that they are actually functioning properly, I won't feel like I'm making some unethical build that's designed to insta-kill bosses or players anymore. So really happy with that. Fixed a bug where some special effects of a right-handed weapon would also be applied to the following weapon skills when cast in the left hand: Feeble Lord's Frenzied Flame and Discus Hurl. Now, this mainly is going to affect the Discus Hurl. Feeble Lord Frenzy's Flame, that was the Naya's Torch. People were able to, you know, near instant frenzy you with Naya's Torch. That shouldn't be the case any longer. It's been quite hard to get PvP because of how late it is at night, but the Discus, we can't just put RKR on our right hand and throw that out anymore. With that being said, the Discus is still very good. You know, the range looks like it got a very slight nerf. I know this was hitting people all the way across the arena, but I mean, still, the damage on that is, it's insane that that damage is comparable to the Cirque. I mean, we're hitting 726. Let me pull out the hammer just to see if that's even doing as much as the Discus. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm glad they fixed it, but like, Discus is still way overtuned. It's so weird to me that they nerfed like the raw throwing damage of so many of the Script Smith weapons, but the Discus is still hitting that hard. So, I mean, that's coming up in a strength build anyway. You know, like, that's a fully charged hammer throw, and the Discus is still hitting harder. And it has a back toss as well. So, Discus is still good, but at the very least, people can't inadvertently put RKR on it anymore. and bug some stuff out. Moving on from there, let me scroll these down some. Fixed a bug that prevented players... Oh, hang on, there's one more. Fixed a bug where successfully guarding while attacking using the thrusting shield weapon type would consume less stamina than intended. Now this one involves the new shields that we have access to, the thrusting shields. If I can find one, there's one. I'll put that one on. And the idea is you can hold this up and hold block and attack while you're doing it. Let's go ahead and reset all of them real quick. I love testing in Stormhill. Not because it's spoiler free or anything, but simply because there's a bunch of trolls to fight and they have large health pools. Right, so let's test this out. We'll consume less stamina than intended. Alright, so the stamina cost is still pretty low on that. This poor guy didn't even see me coming. But nice to see there was a bug fix there. This is another weapon that I've been wanting to do something around. Moving on from there, fixed a bug that prevented players from canceling the attack recovery of two-handed strong weapons by rolling for certain weapons of the backhand blades weapon type. To be completely honest with you, I'm not even sure what that one is supposed to mean. Prevented players from canceling the attack recovery by rolling for certain weapons. That's probably some type of mistranslation, but it sounds like roll catches might have been adjusted. Fixed a bug that caused lightning and frenzy flame perfume bottles to deal double damage under certain circumstances. That's nice to see. Fixed a bug where the arcane scaling on the Blood Fiend's arm weapon was higher than intended when setting an affinity. The status buildup of the heavy attack was also reduced. Now, this one, I'm not sure what exactly they adjusted besides the blood loss buildup. Previously, it was at 221, roughly at 80 arcane. We're at 208, so very minor nerf there. And just running in with this, you can see we're still able to get instant bleeds with it. So just going on in, you know, you can see the blood proc happening. So I'm guessing they reduced it, but if you're running with this as an arcane build and you're putting blood on it, you're still going to be just fine. So chicken wing enjoyers, you have nothing to worry about. Things are still good. Fixed a bug where the faith scaling of the gazing finger weapon was not being applied correctly. This just ended up being a damage buff to gazing finger. It's now up to 1104, which is pretty solid. I mean, it's E faith, so like wasn't a huge bug to, or wasn't a huge buff to begin with. Moving on from there, Fire Knight's Greatsword got some fixes. So fixed a bug where the damage animation on some attacks of the Fire Knight's Greatsword against players was different than expected. For those confused, against players, you could go R1, R1, and that was considered a true combo, incredibly strong in PvP. I'm assuming that's what it's referring to, and that will probably probably no longer be the case. One of the main reasons for this is Godslayer's Greatsword has the same exact attack animations. This did not have confirmed R1s, so it didn't make sense that the Fire Knight's Greatsword would get confirmed R1s. But regardless, with that being fixed, now we just have a Knight's Greatsword that has some excellent fashion, and you don't gotta feel bad about using a weapon that's glitched out anymore. Also on that note, fixed a bug where the attack affinity of some attacks on the Fire Knight's Greatsword were different than expected. Fixed a bug that caused some affinities on the following weapons to be higher than intended: Smithscript Dagger, Cirque, Axe, Great Hammer, Spear, Golem Fist, and Shield. For those confused about what we're talking about there was a bug going around where if you were to put Flame Art or Sacred on the Smithscript weapons, the faith scaling that you would get out of it was just outrageous. So that has been fixed to no longer be the issue. The damage on them is still good, but it's not going to be grossly higher than everything else. Fixed a bug causing enemies to heal when the maximum HP reduction gradual HP reduction effect applied by Black Knight Teeth wore off. For this one, essentially when you had Black Knife Teeth out, you know, she would do her little thing, it would reduce the enemy's maximum HP by a certain amount, and then after a little bit of time, if she died or disappeared, the enemy was getting that health back. And it sounds like they have fixed that, so that Destined Death actually takes that health away for good now. Fixed a bug that caused summon NPCs to behave differently than expected under certain circumstances. Fixed a bug where the unblockable bite attack of the Golden Hippopotamus boss would connect with players more easily than intended. Thank God, because that bite attack was absolutely atrocious. It felt like no matter what I did, I couldn't dodge it. Fixed a bug that caused text to display differently than expected, and several other performance improvements and bug fixes. Besides that, for the PS5 version of the game, unstable frame rate may be approved by using the rebuild database option from the device's safe mode. In some PC versions, ray tracing may be unintentionally enabled and cause unstable performance. Check the ray tracing setting in the system graphics menu. On the PC version, the message inappropriate activity detected may appear without cheating. To fix this issue, please verify the integrity of the game's files before restarting. So hopefully it sounds like that has been fixed. I know that was a really annoying bug because it would pop up and then you have to kill the game and reboot it. So it's definitely a nice one. But all in all, I'm actually really happy with this patch, you know. There's no notes about boss nerfs or anything like that. I know a lot of people were concerned about them nerfing bosses. They may have like shadow done something, you know. It wouldn't be the first time that we have seen a patch note, but I do have people saying that the final boss is untouched. I actually just looked over at Discord and someone on there said, yes, they didn't nerf the final boss. So that's good to see. But honestly, this is nice. I mean, obviously I like doing a lot of PvP, mostly casual, mostly arena. Fire Knight's Greatsword was, you know, let's be honest, it was a problem with the confirmed R1s, so that's been fixed. The Frenzy Flame nuke and the Lightning Bottle nuke, that was definitely a problem. People throwing out the Discus with RKR was a problem. Obviously, people utilizing Swift Slash was a problem. You know, pretty much every build I did, I would keep a backhand blade in my back pocket just to counter people who were going to use it. So it seems like pretty much everything that was like a huge problem has been addressed, which is really nice. The only outlier still being Impenetrable Thorns, which I'm really surprised that wasn't touched because the bleed buildup on that is definitely higher than what you can get from the Blood Fiend's arm. At the same time, I guess you could argue that you have to, you know, actually invest. I mean, 24 faith to use it, and it's a sorcery, so like you have to do 24 faith and you have to get enough int to actually get some decent scaling out of it. So I don't know, maybe that could be the argument for why that one is untouched. But you know, either way, all in all, a good patch. I'm gonna drop the link to those patch notes in the description, as well as pin them in a comment below in case you want to read them yourselves. And otherwise, I'll catch y'all soon with another stream.